It's time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
Welcome back, Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We have a special Puffin' Paul in the studio. How you doing today, Paul?
I'm doing great, Rob.
So anyway, Bryant was unavailable this weekend, so Paul is graciously filling in. And so we want to say thank you for coming over and smoking and having some bourbon.
It's always a good time. You know it, Rob.
So tell everybody what you're smoking today, Paul.
Oh, man. Let's see. You just gave me this. It's a AJ Fernandez Enclave, but it's the Cameroon Enclave.
Great smoke.
And funny enough, as many AJs as I smoke, I haven't smoked the Cameroon.
What do you think so far?
Oh, fantastic smoke.
I mean, I had never smoked that until I bought a box, and I fell in love with it. And then I really like the Enclave, even the Maduro.
I do too.
A great stick.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I'm smoking something that you don't like.
Uh-oh.
I'm smoking the Alec Bradley Rare and Fine.
I want to like that cigar, and maybe I'll try it again. I might try it again.
Have you smoked it just once?
I've only smoked it once.
Because this is probably my 8th one.
Okay, well, I've only smoked one, and our buddy Junior was raving about him one day, and I'm like, well, I got to smoke one.
Same
So
with
I
me.
plopped down my $22, and I was like...
You were disappointed.
I was like, what the hell just happened here?
See, I plopped down my 22, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
I'll smoke another one.
I think, well, you know what? The Leaf, I think maybe they've got 1 or 2 left, so you better jump on it.
Well, I jumped on those, what were those? Those 680, what were those?
Oh, the Christoph 685.
85s, yeah.
Is there any more of those left?
No, I bought the last 3. I gave you one, and I gave Francis one.
I think I have one in the humidor.
Yeah, and I smoked mine already, so it's going, of course.
Great stick also. I'll tell you what, I don't know if you heard the last week's show, but I smoked the Christoph JT Signature Series. Fantastic smoke. Ooh. But I will say this, when I smoked it, it reminded me a lot of this cigar.
Okay.
It's a box press. It's real smooth, and it's just a super nice medium stick. But anyway, that's what I love about this. This is a nice medium stick.
It's definitely medium.
Well, it doesn't have all the profile changes, which is what I normally like. Yeah. But what I like about it, it has a unique flavor blend that is unlike any other cigar, kind of like what Padron does, but it's not the Padron flavor, of course, but it's its own unique flavor. And when I smoke it, I'm like, this doesn't taste like any other cigar I've smoked. And that's one of the reasons that I like it so much.
Yeah, well, I'll give it another shot. You know me, I'm not a cigar snob.
You're not a quitter.
I'm not a quitter either.
So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and jump in.
Did we talk about what we're drinking?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. We are drinking the 12 recipe Dickel. And Dickel, man, I don't know. This is my first time buying it.
You know what I say? Get a little Dickel in your life.
Exactly. Well, let me tell you, this Dickel is out of sight. I was up in Lubbock this week, picked up a bottle at Specs for, I want to say, $28.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, and I've been looking for Dickel here in Abilene. I haven't been able to find it. But I was actually looking for a different one, and they didn't have it. It was actually ranked number 1 in America's Bourbon Magazine or whatever. But they didn't have it, but they had this one, and I decided to take a chance, and I'm glad I did.
Oh, I'm glad you did, too.
It's really good.
Because I'm going to drink as much of it as I can before I leave here.
So anyway, guys, let's talk about McAuliffe right quick. They just dropped a bombshell of news last week.
Boom.
I think it's super, super cool. If you're not an ambassador, you gotta sign up
well, you should
quick.
Be. I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Right. And I mean, it's free to sign up. They send you a challenge coin. It's actually numbered just for you, so it's your personal challenge coin. I know a lot of different companies or groups that do like challenge medallions or whatever, but none of them is specifically to you.
Right.
And so just the fact that you get your own numbers, that's badass.
Oh, and I got to correct my number.
Oh.
For our fellow listeners. I'm actually 346.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so I'm not below you. I mean, below, whatever.
You're higher than me.
I'm higher than you.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm 346.
That's still pretty good, though.
That's not bad.
So I meant to.
I got in pretty early. So.
I meant to ask Debra what hers was, and I didn't. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
I was curious. And Debra's our guest today. She is a tobacconist that works at the Leaf, and she's been smoking cigars since she was 18.
I thought she started when she was like 10.
No, but she's knowledgeable.
She does. She really does.
I mean, she smokes a lot of different cigars like I do, and you do. I mean, we like to not just focus on one. So anyway, we'll have her up after we talk about the Picj Six this week, and she was a great guest. I want to say thank you to Debra for coming on the show. And anyway, McAuliffe, one of the things I love about McAuliffe is they make cigars that fits anyone's budget, from anywhere from $4 to $42. And I've smoked the $4 and I've smoked the $42. And then, of course, my go-to is the Medallia.
Oh, yeah.
And it's $9.
And it's a great smoke.
For $9,
I smoked one just the other day.
That is like, I would, if I was pricing it based on what I think of the cigar, it would probably be a $12 to $14 cigar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, at $9, it's a bargain.
Well, now, I've smoked a couple of the $4 cigars. Not exactly my cigar, but I know a lot of people who love that cigar, and they don't care that if it's $4 or $8. They don't care. They just love that cigar. They like the cigar,
right? And so we want to take hats off to McAuliffe for making a cigar line that everybody can participate in. And if you sign up to be an ambassador, the big bombshell that they dropped last week was they just released an unnamed Maduro cigar. And if you're an ambassador, they're going to have an opportunity, I want to say for like a month or so. I don't remember the deadline, but the ambassadors are actually going to name the cigar.
That's right. Yeah.
Now,
I think it said go to the Facebook page.
Yeah, you got to go to the Facebook page, and that's where they're doing it. And if you become an ambassador, or if you already are one and you're not a member of the Facebook group, they have a private group just for ambassadors.
Right.
So anyway, they're going to let us name the cigar. Now, I want to say this is funny because I had already thought of a name, and then I asked Paul if he had come up with the name, and without discussing it, we had come up with the same name.
We did.
Go ahead and tell them what you thought.
I think it should be called the Ambassador.
I think that's perfect. The ambassadors named it. It represents all the ambassadors.
Exactly.
If we name it that. And so I think that would be a great name, the Ambassador.
And here's another little tidbit. Me and you have actually already smoked the cigar.
Right.
So we've already, I believe it's this week it'll be available in stores, but of course we smoked it before.
Yeah, we got a little love.
Yeah, we got a little love. Yeah.
But I'm excited about it. I think you guys are going to be super excited about it too. And I know that they already sold out of the first round.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, all the shops that bought them, they're already bought.
Oh, nice.
So all the ambassadors are going to have the chance to smoke those real soon and then come up with some names if you want to go out on your own and think of, hey, man, I think this cigar would be great if it was like Roberto Jonas.
I'm sticking with Ambassador.
So anyway, guys, go by, sign up. If you go to our webpage, there's a link down below this episode that says Become a McAuliffe Ambassador. Click on that link. It takes you to their site. It's free. You get a challenge coin, a head rinse certificate. And, I mean, I just can't promote McAuliffe enough because it's that easy. You know what I mean?
Right on, man. So, great smokes.
So anyway, let's jump into this week's Picj Six. Are you ready?
I guess so.
Do you have 3 cigars that you're going to name?
Yeah, I was pretty bland this week.
Well, that's unusual.
I know. Okay, I know, beating a dead horse here. I smoked the Padron 1964 Maduro.
What size?
Oh, it's the whatever
it's
that
like
is.
The 7x50.
Yeah, it's like 7x50.
Great.
I love that size, and I'm a slower smoker than you.
Oh, that would last you like 2 hours.
Well, it's an hour and a half for me. That's a good hour and a half smoke for me. But once again, I can't say enough about Padron because you can smoke that sucker to a nub. Now, I don't do the toothpick.
Yeah,
I know guys who do the toothpick. I just can't take that much heat, but I can get it pretty damn close.
Well, I like that stick, and in that particular size, I think it rivals the 1926.
Oh yeah, because that is my number one love right there. I love the 1926, but
if you're not willing to drop $30,
right, exactly,
it's a great substitute.
It's a great substitute. And let's see, I've smoked. I smoked a Oliva nub Cameroon.
Oh, nice. You know, I'm a big fan of those.
I know you are. Yeah. And, it's good little smoke for me. I could do that one about 35 minutes. So that's pretty good for me.
That's pretty fast for you.
Yeah.
Because the nub actually lasts me for like 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
If I'm taking my time with it.
I think for some reason, the shortness of the cigar, I tend to smoke it a little faster.
And you might not smoke it down as far as I do.
I do not smoke it as far as you do.
Yeah. Now, did you get the torpedo or did you get the regular?
I get the regular nubs because, I'm a V-cut guy.
True.
So if I get a torpedo, I have to crown it. So,
well, let me tell you. I can't do the crown.
Yeah,
I
know.
Will not do the crown.
I know you don't do the crown.
To me, that just is un-American.
Look, I crowned this one you gave me a while ago.
Did you really?
I did. It's crowned.
I thought you just cut it once.
I cut it twice.
Oh, see, I can't do the crown. To me, that's wrong. It's like if I did that, I feel like I would have to go talk to the priest.
Yeah,
and get some redemption because I think that's abusing the cigar.
Well, as me and you know, we're big smokers and we're big fans of smokers, and there's no right or wrong way to smoke a cigar, really, and there's no right or wrong cigar to choose.
True,
unless. Well, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it, but let's see what else. My third. Okay, third. I
thought you were going with the Melanio.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oliva V Melanio.
The Maduro.
I've smoked the Maduro this week, and I've also smoked the natural.
Now, which one of those two do you prefer?
I prefer the natural in the morning and the Maduro in the afternoon.
Fair enough.
Of course, I smoke about 4 or 5 of those a day. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. 4 or 5, yeah.
I'll tell everybody also, before we did the show, Paul was hanging out in the studio, and he brought me a Melanio V Maduro, and I love the Melanio V Maduro. To me, it is just a really nice, leathery, chocolatey stick. You know what I mean? And it's smooth as silk.
Oh, it's a great cigar.
And the wrapper on that, the taste on your lips is nice.
Oh, it's a great cigar. I smoke them by the box. So, yeah, what can I say?
So, anyway, that's a great 3. That's a really good 3. So, my 3 this week, I went to Lubbock to visit a friend, Tim Rickman. And me and Tim Rickman have been best friends for about 35 years. And so his birthday is March 10th. My birthday is March 11th. So every year in the month of March, we always get together and go celebrate our birthdays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's cool.
And he's 1 year older than me. So, a year and a day.
1 year and 1 day.
So anyway, I went to Lubbock, and the first stop was at Specs. And then I went in and I bought a bottle of Dickel. I bought a bottle of Wild Turkey 101, and I bought a bottle of Springbank 10-year-old Scotch.
Oh, we killed one of those.
Yes. Well, more than one.
More than one.
But anyway, I had never had the Wild Turkey 101, but it made the top 10 list.
Right.
So I didn't know that.
Oh, you never had 101 before?
No, that was the first. And I got to tell you, I was super excited. And you know what the price point on that is?
About 36?
23.
What?
23.
Oh, man.
That's another one I'm going to stock back up on whenever I go back up.
Well, I could tell stories, but I'm not going to go that. Who knows who listens to this? Like maybe my wife. But back in the day, I used to drink 101. And what I discovered is, you go to a bar and you're hanging out with your buds, is, drinks are expensive.
Right.
If you get away from the beer, drinks are expensive. Well, I discovered I liked 101, and if you get 101 in a bar, I mean, you're paying basically the same price for a drink, but you're getting 101.
Really?
So I discovered I could get, my buzz on, actually, and spend less money.
Oh yeah,
that's a tip from Paul.
There you go,
man. If you want to get
tip of the week.
There's my perfect tip of the week, man. If you want to get your buzz on, just order a 101.
Huh. I didn't even really know there was a Wild Turkey 101.
Oh, man.
Because I drank Wild Turkey back in my youth.
Back in the youth, yeah.
And I do not like just Wild Turkey.
Right.
It's a little wild for me, let's just say that. But anyway, so that being said, I booked a hotel in Lubbock. And when I book a hotel, you know what the number one priority is?
It has a bar.
No. No, I can.
It has a smoking area.
It has an outdoor patio that's comfortable.
Right.
So we stayed at the Hilton Garden in Lubbock, and they have a great patio. They even have a fire pit.
Oh, nice.
And in Lubbock that night, it got down to 39.
Ooh.
So sitting out there smoking and drinking bourbon next to that fire pit was fantastic.
Now, did they stoke up the fire pit for you?
No, it's actually a gas.
It's a gas one.
Yeah, it's a gas with the lava rock on top.
Oh, nice.
And there's 4 chairs around it. Super nice. And, some people would come and go because, other smokers stop by. And we would shoot the breeze with them and then pass the bottle around and see if they wanted any, of course. But it was really funny, though, because when we got there, I had 3 bottles of liquor, but I didn't have any glasses. So they do have a bar. At the hotel.
So you went and borrowed some glasses?
So I walked up to the bar with my bottle of Wild Turkey 101, and he was like, yeah, what can I do for you, bud? And I was like, hey, man, can I get a couple of glasses? And he was like, sure, no problem. And I was like, sweet.
Nice.
So we took the glasses out on the patio, and we killed that bottle.
I like staying at Hilton Gardens.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
They're a nice place to stay.
And I tell you what, the service there was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I've never had a complaint.
Yeah, I was real impressed with the staff. Very nice. And so, anyway, before we actually hung out there, we also I went by Good Karma, the smoke shop there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you know, but they moved.
Oh, no, I didn't.
So
that's
if you guys are in Lubbock and you're driving to the old Good Karma and you think they closed, they didn't close. They moved to University and 22nd.
Okay, University and 22nd. Well, that's nice to know because next time I go through Lubbock, I won't go to the old location.
Right. So, and it was funny because we were joking about it. I was like, so how has business been since y'all moved? And he said, it's dropped a little bit, but it's starting to gain up. And I said, well, the funny thing is when the Leaf moved, 8 years later, people still think the Leaf closed.
Well, my story.
Yeah, you were driving by and couldn't find it.
Well, I'd moved back to Abilene, and I drove by the Leaf, and it wasn't there. And I was like, well, that's, that's not good.
That sucks.
Yeah. And so then about 2 years later, I'm driving up 3rd Street, and I saw the cigar sign in the window, and I literally slammed on the brakes and stopped in the street and pulled in there and been going there ever since.
Well, see,
it's like...
And how long was that? You hadn't been there in what?
Well, probably 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
And so I told Brad that, and I was like, it's funny, man, because, and he said, we've been telling everybody for 3 months we're moving, and people still don't listen to what you tell them.
True.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I think when a company moves, regardless of whether you're a cigar shop or something else, I think they need to get the word out better. Like maybe do a grand opening.
Yeah.
Get your name in the media, TV coverage or anything, because some people just don't know.
Hey, well, I don't know that the media covers smoking events. It's not 1975.
Well, I'm just saying,
Maybe they tried.
I don't know.
I would think that you would want to do a full social media blast.
Oh, absolutely.
For 2 weeks.
Well, and here's something interesting about when the Leaf moved. I did Google the Leaf, but it gave me the old address.
Oh, really?
Yes, it did. So I'm like, well, that place is closed. So I did not try to go again, and I just happened by it 2 years later.
Well, I run into people all the time, and when they ask me where I get cigars, I tell them the Leaf, and they're like, oh, I thought that place closed. And
exactly.
I'm like, no, it moved a block.
Yep.
And now they're getting ready to move back a block and a half.
Right.
So what 3 doors?
The same thing could happen.
Right. So make sure if you go to Good Karma, they're at University and 22nd or 22nd. And if you go to the Leaf, they are moving at the end of this month. So probably around March 31st, they're moving to North 2nd, a half a block down west of Cypress Street.
Yep.
So make sure you guys keep informed about where your cigar shops are. Anyway, all that to be said, I went by Good Karma and I picked up 3 Steve SAKA cigars. Ooh. Now, I am a huge fan of Steve SAKA.
I know that.
Dude, let me tell you, I picked up 3 sticks, and all 3 of those sticks are my cigars of the week for the Picj Six.
Nice.
And, I'm here. Are you ready for me to butcher the names of these cigars?
Butcher those babies.
So the first 2 have the same name. It's the Makita. Actually, I spelled it with a K, but it's spelled Q-U. But I'm thinking it's like Makita, and one was a blue band and one was a red band.
Okay.
Those were my first 2, and then I smoked the Sin Capricio, and that cigar, dude, that's my favorite SAKA cigar.
Now, I believe I've smoked that one before.
It almost looks like you have an
blue,
Irish.
I have not.
It almost looks like you have an Irish cross on the front.
Yes.
The white.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. That cigar, dude, I mean, it is a sweet cocoa, real rich cigar. Yeah. And then it has just a little hint of spice.
Right.
And dude, let me tell you, all 3 of those cigars, for me, get Retro Hell of the Year award.
Nice.
Because all 3 of those, the Retro Hell was freaking amazing. And, I enjoy a nice Retro Hell.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of cigars, unfortunately, don't have a good Retro Hell.
No, they do not.
I mean, it's too overpowering. It's too strong. If they didn't let the leaf age quite long enough, you'll get that ammonia, burning your nose.
Right, yeah. And who likes a burning nose?
I don't. I just like that nice, smooth Retro Hell. But anyway, that's my pick 3, and with Puff and Paul, we got 3 more, so that's our Picj Six of the week. Coming up next, we've got Debra, the Tobacconist, and you're not going to miss her story. She's been smoking since she was 18, and I think she's 64 now?
Yeah.
Something like that. So anyway, guys, stick around. We'll be right back after the break. Hey guys, thanks for hanging through the break. We have a special guest with us today. When you go to a lot of different cigar shops, one of the things that we don't have is very many women in the shops, but a lot of the shops have your regular smoking sister of the Leaf. And at the Leaf here in Abilene, Texas, we have Debra. Debra, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm good. I'm smoking a cigar. Life's always good.
Right. So, and let's just jump right in and talk about what we're smoking, because I mean, right off the bat, this is fantastic. Mm-hmm. This is the Steve SAKA Mi Querida. Did I say that right?
I would say pretty close. Mi querida, maybe?
Probably. I'm doing that whole Texas thing, so.
You do it well.
Yeah, thanks. So anyway, I was up in Lubbock visiting a friend last night, and we went by the Good Karma in Lubbock, and I picked up some Steve SAKA, and because I love their cigars. I think he's one of the best cigar makers out there. And we've been really, really trying to get him on the show. He said he was going to come on the show, but he's a very busy guy.
Steve, come on, man.
Right.
We're ready for you.
So, and I've said this before on the show, Steve SAKA is one of the guys in the cigar industry that I really look up to. And do you want to know why?
Why?
It's not because of his blending. I mean, we all know he's an amazing blender, but he smokes 10 to 12 cigars a day. That's somebody I can look up to. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So he was in an interview, I want to say, that I saw about 4 or 5 months ago. In his lifetime, he approximately has smoked 75,000 cigars.
Oh, my goodness. That's awesome.
That's crazy.
I made a rule I made a rule because I make rules. It's who I am, right? We're all different people. Probably 7 or 8 years ago, my only rule was that next year I want to smoke more cigars than I smoked this year. So that's always my goal. I would like more and not less, please.
See, and I like that goal. I think that is a solid goal. My goal is a little bit different. My goal is to smoke more cigars today than I smoked yesterday.
Dude, you could do it.
I try. I give it my best. So let's talk a minute about what it's like being the sister of the leaf. Because, I mean, there's lots of times you're at the leaf and you are the only woman there.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there's 4 or 5 guys there. Sometimes there's 25 guys there. How is it to go hang out at the cigar shop when you're the main or only sister of the leaf?
That's a great question. Well, here in Abilene, I'll tell you, it's fantastic. You know, I think about smoking cigars. I hope this reference makes sense. Kind of like going to a church, but like a really good church.
Right.
Like I want to be around people who are like family, who are like friends, who are like community. And so when I walk in the doors of like the Leaf here in Abilene, I walk into my family. It just happens to be a whole bunch of brothers,
right.
You know? I mean, you know me, I can walk in after work one day in a blazer and high heels, and I can walk in on Saturday in a ponytail and a baseball cap. And we're there to relax, chit chat, shoot the breeze, and smoke a good cigar. So, yeah.
And that's pretty much, you know, and I don't think it's that different for the guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's, for me, that's the draw to going to the cigar shop, is to hang out with, you know, friends, maybe some people that I don't know that I get to know because it's such a great place to meet new people.
Yeah.
But it's just somewhere that I feel comfortable. I can't think of a place that I would rather go than my local cigar shop.
Right.
And I'm not really like a bar guy.
Yeah.
I don't really do bars, but I still enjoy the camaraderie that maybe some people get at a bar, but on a cigar level, not a drinking level.
And I think it is good to point out, like, as a sister of the Leaf, I mean, you want to go where you're welcome. So my local shop, I kind of forget about gender. I just go in and be myself, and, you know, there it is.
And that's perfect when you don't have to even think about it.
Yeah. But when you're traveling, I mean, you know, I do a lot of traveling. It's a little different. You got to walk lightly and then go, hey, are us ladies welcome here? You know, and I found, you know, honestly, I mean, the world's not perfect, but, you know, 90% of the time it's like you walk in and the first thought is like, oh, is she looking for the nail place or something? Is she in the wrong place? But once you get past that and say, hey, can I have a look in the humidor? And, you know, maybe ask a question or two, they go, oh, she's legit. You know, she wants to be here. So, I mean, I've literally traveled the world, and I think I've been welcomed in almost all the places I've gone. So once people realize our language is cigars, you know, or that's what our connector is. And, yeah, let's sit down and have a smoke.
So let me ask you this. What advice would you give to maybe a woman who is just starting in cigars, and how to navigate going to a cigar lounge?
That's awesome. Well, first of all, if you're in Abilene, just hit me up or text Rob, right? DM Rob, and we'll just have a party. We love it when new folks come in. But there's a couple things. One, be comfortable. So if you don't want to, I mean, you should feel welcome walking into a cigar shop by yourself, because like mom and pop shops, like kind of the heart of the cigar world, this is family. So you're going to be treated like family, you know. But if you're like, I don't want to go by myself, find someone to go with you. That's great. The other thing is, kind of like with all things in life, just be honest. So the people who work at cigar shops, they actually love feeling smart.
Being asked questions.
So be like, hey, this is my first time in. I'm not sure where to start. You know, this guy Rob on a Cigar Talk podcast said, you know, start with the Connecticut or what have you. But like, I don't know where I want to start. And they will absolutely, it's a great joy. Doesn't matter gender. Like when someone comes into a shop and, you know, if I'm if I'm running the ship that day, it's like, hey, welcome. That's the first thing I say. Hey, welcome, man. Like, we're glad you're here.
And let's let everybody know that Debra is not just a sister of the Leaf at the Leaf. She also works there.
Yeah.
So
I'm Moonlight.
She moonlights, and she is a tobacconist, and she helps people pick out cigars. And so that's one of the things that I stress is, I mean, I smoke several cigars a day. Mm-hmm. But when I go to a shop and I know the tobacconist, I ask him, hey, pick me out something. Mm-hmm. Come in the humidor with me. And I mean, so don't ever be shy about asking for help, because I was up in Lubbock a couple of weeks ago and I asked their tobacconist, I was like, hey, man, and he always picks out something that I love. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm in the mood for a medium with a nice roller coaster complex profile. And so we go in the humidor and he picks out a Christoph JT Signature Series. Mm. Have you had that?
No, I don't think I've had the JT. No,
let me tell you, it is fantastic. In fact, I'm kicking myself because I didn't have time to run by Smokers Haven this weekend while I was in Lubbock. Because I was planning on going by there and picking up like 4 or 5 of them because they're that good.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so, but that's just my example of when you have the opportunity to have a tobacconist, that especially when you find one that's like knows your palate, knows what you like to smoke, don't hesitate. Yeah. Whether you're a brand new cigar smoker or you've been smoking for 15 years.
Yeah.
Trust them and let them have a shot at picking cigars for you. Because you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say that what's great about that is, especially, that might be a great challenge to all your listeners who, you know, they have their go-to. They're like, I go in the shop, I go to the second shelf on the left-hand side, you know, this row, I know what I smoke, and, you know, they can rattle it off. I mean, I know, you know, my day job is stressful. You know, I work for a startup, right? So sometimes I walk into a shop, you know, and it's a Monday night, and that Monday night kicked my butt. So I'll ask, you know, the manager or the owner, whoever's on, be like, hey, I mean, they obviously know what I like. I smoke a lot of cigars there, but I'll be like, hey, pick one out for me. And what I love is actually experiencing somebody else's vision, you know, and we talk about that all the time. Like, hey, have you tried this cigar? You know, me and I'm always pushing Lanceros, which I've decided to stop doing because they're my favorite. Right. I'm going to stop telling the world about them.
You know what? I do the same thing, and it's not very nice when you find something that you really love.
Right.
But I got to tell you, you know, I'm not a big Lancero fan. Mm-hmm.
It's okay to be wrong, Rob. It's okay.
Well, yeah, and I'm used to that. But it's like I really like the 46 to 52 ring gauge. Mm-hmm. So really, I would have like a mad scientist create a Frankenstein Lancero, which would be like a 46 gauge by 7. Because usually the Lanceros are what, like a 38 to 42?
Yeah, they can be as small as 35, but yeah, 30 what? Yeah, probably 38 is about standard. And then the length is great too, that you're going longer with a thinner cigar.
And the main reason that that's not my ring gauge is because you have to work that cigar. And what I mean by that is you can't sit it down for very long.
Correct.
Because you do have to keep puffing on it pretty regular to keep it going. When you have a larger ring gauge, you know, sometimes it'll burn 5 minutes without you puffing on it.
Yeah.
Now, that goes beyond the ring gauge that I want to smoke. Now, here's the funny thing is Deb loves a Lancero.
True.
But she'll also smoke the 8x80.
Absolutely.
I mean, she's 100%. Not scared to try anything.
No, not at all. I mean, you only live once. But here's a challenge, though, I know that you've got folks who don't smoke Lanceros. My favorite thing is I was sitting in a shop, like a guest, and not our local shop, but I heard someone talking about a Lancero, and they're like, yeah, that's like a girl cigar. And inside, I chuckled deeply, knowing like, wow, you couldn't be more dead wrong because of the flavor that you're getting. I think we all know now with that wrapper. I mean, It's so intense. It's so fantastic that a new cigar smoker, male or female, should not be smoking Lanceros. Like it's for people who are ready for that and who really want, like the most positive punch in the face you could get.
Well, and I'll say this too. I think you're spot on, because if you were to give a Lancero to a brand new cigar smoker, they're not going to get it. They're not going to enjoy it. Yeah. And that's like for me on the 46 ring gauge, to me, that's the sweet spot where I get the binder, filler, wrapper ratio that I really love. Mm-hmm. But even 5 years ago, that would not be my cigar. 6, 7 years ago, I was smoking 6x60s all day long because I thought I looked cool.
Well, I mean, you look cool, Rob.
Well, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Well, and this is in cigar world. I mean, can I say this? Like, size doesn't matter.
Right.
Is that okay for a sister of the leaf to say? Like, size doesn't matter. I would say explore what you like, and if you get in a rut, like, get into another lane. Because if you're the Toro guy, I mean, I knew guys who would come into a shop when I lived in Washington State. I only smoke Toros. Well, congratulations, but there's this whole world out there.
There's a whole world.
Like, why don't you try something different? And what's really fun is if you go to your local shop, like, grab one of those cigars that you love in like 4 or 5 different vitolas.
Absolutely.
Smoke those. I mean, you could smoke 1 or 2 and probably still get the flavor profile, but look at the change in like the tobacco and how that ratio, like you were saying, the wrapper, binder, filler, like the ratio actually changes the flavor of the cigar.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, don't give it up. Usually like, I don't like that cigar.
And one of my biggest go-to cigars is the McAuliffe Medallia. I love that in the Corona Extra 6x46. Mm-hmm. Dan Thompson, which is the president of McAuliffe, loves that same cigar, but he loves it in the Toro. Mm-hmm. And I've smoked it in the Toro, and I think it's a great cigar.
Right.
But when you get into the Corona Extra, it's an amazing cigar.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised that a president of the company doesn't understand that. You know what I mean?
He's a Toro guy. What can we say?
we have fun going back and forth about which one's best. But, for me, that's where I'm at. And like you were saying, the journey of smoking several different profiles or size profiles of each cigar really adds to you understanding that cigar.
Right. And I think it's kind of, you can do your own personal cigar education, That's what I love. Like, obviously, Dan's a smart guy. He didn't just make it in the Toro. He would have been losing out on you as a customer. But you actually introduced me to that cigar. And this goes back to our whole talk about like, oh, you tell someone it's fantastic, they should try it. Well, I think you told me and like 3 other people about it. And then I went in the next day and like the box was gone. Like, we'd obliterated all of the McAuliffes.
Right. So. Yeah. Well, it's funny because you're an ambassador, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what your number is by chance?
No, I'm not that cool. I don't have my coin with me.
Wow.
I walked in without a purse.
If you come on the show, you're supposed to know your number. All right, so you're gonna have. That's okay.
Sorry, McAuliffe.
You're gonna have to text me what your coin number is.
Okay.
Because that's a big deal in this realm. Because unfortunately, Bryant's number is lower than mine.
What?
Yeah.
So he's the winner and he rubs it in?
I don't like to think of Bryant as a winner, but he does rub it in every chance he gets.
He is a winner. I know him.
Yes, he is a winner. So anyway, let's back up for a minute. How did you actually get into smoking cigars?
That's a great story. Actually, my best friend in college, I was 18 at the time. I had a best friend and that group of kind of friends that we all hung out together. And I'd helped these guys with a project. And there were 4 or 5 guys who were starting this, this project. And I'd helped them. And one night he said, "Hey, Deb, we want you to come out with us for this evening. We're going to build a fire." And I was like, "Sounds cool. What are we doing?" And he's like, "We're going to smoke cigars." And I actually was like, whoa, like, first of all, I'd always wanted to smoke a cigar.
Really?
Oh, always. Yeah. I mean, cigars are awesome. But I was like, whoa, I actually said, like, "Are you sure? Can I be invited into this circle?" And they were like, there's a place for you in this circle. So I was like, legit. Let's do it. And I remember that night. It felt like a sacred moment, that first cigar that I smoked. And I was a dummy. I'm like, how do I do it?
Right,
like, you know,
right.
And some dude showed me like, okay, well, you just clip it like this and then light it like this. Don't burn the end, you know. And I was like, okay. And I thought it was great and, you know, wonderful. And so we started smoking cigars occasionally when I was 18, and now I'm very, very, very far from 18. And I don't know what it is. 26 years later, when these guys come to town now, I get to school them.
Nice.
So it became something for me that was, I was invited into the circle and I was like, hey, I belong here and this is fantastic. And somebody else needs to relax and they go to yoga. And I need to relax, and I go to my cigar shop. You know, like I make it; it's a part of my routine, and I love it. And I've spent
that's a great story of how you got started, because you recognized that it was something special right off the bat.
Yeah.
And see, that's not the experience that I had. I used to go to Lubbock to visit. I lived in Houston at the time, but I would go to Lubbock and visit my best friend. And because it was always a special occasion, we would go to the cigar shop, pick up a couple of cigars that cost anywhere between $15 and $25, because we thought, this is a special occasion. Now, let me tell you something. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't appreciate the cigar. It was just, you know, this is going through the motions.
Yeah.
Because this is a special occasion. This is what we do. And I would probably say after 3 or 4 months of us getting together and doing that, it finally hit. You know, it was a cigar that like had that aha moment for me. And it was like, wow, now I get it. In fact, it was a Christoph, the one that really got it for me. And the next day I went and bought a box of those Christophs because I was like, this is the greatest cigar on the planet.
Yeah.
And then that's when the journey started of me, you know, I stayed on the Christoph forever. And then when I finally started branching out, I smoked some stuff I liked. I smoked some stuff I didn't like, but it was the journey. And now, you know, you advance years and years ahead, and we're here now, and we're smoking we're smoking these Steve Zakas, which, by the way, have you retroheld this yet?
No, I haven't, dude. Mine is so fantastic.
Let me tell you.
I've just been enjoying this little moment.
Every Steve Zaka cigar I've ever retroheld is the smoothest retroheld I've had, and that is just a testament to the ultra aged tobacco that he uses.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm really enjoying. I am smoking the Mi Querida, the red label. It's red and gold. It probably has a fancy name, but I don't know it. What I'm loving is the depth of flavor.
It's very nice right out of the gate.
Oh, right out of the gate. I was like, whoa, this like that dark chocolate goodness.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on in this cigar? It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm smoking the same, but the blue label, the blue and gold. And I got to say, I smoked a SAKA last night. It's the one with, it looks like the Irish Iron Cross or whatever, you know, the little design. And I actually asked the tobacconist there, that's a good friend of mine at Good Karma, what the name of it was. And he told me, and I have no idea, so I'm not going to butcher up my guess. But anyway, I retroheld that last night, and that cigar was freaking amazing. So I was like, I'm going to pick up a couple more SAKA cigars before I leave.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Loving it.
And that's one of those reasons that I love when I get an opportunity to go out of town and go to some other shops that you don't have the same cigars. Because even though our home shop is the Leaf and they have an amazing selection for especially a town like Abilene.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I always enjoy going to other shops to see what they don't have that we don't, or that what they do have that we don't have.
Oh, yeah. I vacation around cigar shops.
Exactly. I mean, everything I decide where I'm going to go, it's like I look to see what's there before I make a plan.
Oh, sure. I mean, I've been with my best friend on weekend trips, and we go like, well, if we stay in this town, we've got 2 that are close. And I used to live in Florida, so it gave a lot of options there. Or I travel for work. I would, travel overseas, and it's like, oh, if I'm in Amsterdam, I better look at this. Like, what hotel do I want to stay at that's, walking distance from a cigar shop,
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this is funny. I just went to Lubbock and hung out with my best friend that I was telling you about earlier. And it's our birthday month. His birthday is on the 10th. Mine is on the 11th. So every year we get together in March.
Yeah.
And so when I booked my hotel room, I booked it at the Hilton Garden Inn in Lubbock based on they have this awesome patio. They have a nice fire pit. It's smoke friendly. And we just sat out there and visited. And what were we drinking? Oh, Wild Turkey 101. And I think we probably smoked about 5 cigars and just sat out there talking and drinking that great rum.
That's awesome.
Bourbon. But yeah, it was a great time. And it was good seeing, I went by the shop and saw some old friends and then hung out with Tim. And to me, that's a vacation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I still, well, almost every year I try to meet up with my best friend, Scott, who's, he's one of my cigar smoking friends that actually taught me that cigars can be a daily enjoyment, Yeah,
and I've met Scott.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
He's come to town. Surprised me for my birthday.
Nice.
So, but what's fun is a lot of cigar smokers, they smoke on, like you were talking about, the special occasion. Once a month you smoke, and that's awesome. I mean, smoke exactly as much as you want to smoke. But I remember meeting this fine gentleman, and we both worked on a cruise ship, and I met him, and some time passed, and we have people come in and out, and I found out like, oh, you smoke cigars? And I'm like, awesome. I'm like, I wish I had a cigar. And he's like, well, we both worked on a ship. He's like, oh, you don't travel with your cigars? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh yeah, my trunk, half of it's filled with cigars.
Nice.
And I was like, you are a man with a plan. And I said, well, how about I bring the drink and you bring the cigars? And that's great. Like, it's okay. Like, give yourself permission to enjoy a cigar exactly as much as you want to enjoy a cigar.
Absolutely.
And as often as you want to.
And I always say that, I jokingly say I smoke a lot of cigars, which I
do.
But
FYI,
but
you do.
If sometimes I think though, if I smoked way less cigars, the amount of money that I spend on a lot of cigars, the echelon of cigars I'd be smoking if I only smoked half of the cigars. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the other thing you have to consider is, maybe this is a female perspective. I hope not. But the other thing you have to consider is I think about, if I didn't smoke X amount of cigars, I would just be putting that money into like a therapist.
Well, see, when I look at my budget for cigars, when I think about what else I would do with my money, I can't think of anything that I would rather do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know our friend Paul.
Right.
I think you've had him on the show.
Oh, yeah. He was on a couple of weeks ago.
So here's the scoop. That dude's cool, too.
Oh.
Besides becoming a friend over the years that I've been at the Leaf. I know him personally. But here's this guy, Paul, who likes to have a good time and is fun and tells a good story about life and about, Army or what have you. But he's also got this keen mind. So I've been telling people, they're like, oh, well, what do you do with, how do you know what you know and how do you learn? And I'm like, oh, well, this was a book recommendation from Paul. And he gave me a reading plan, man. He was like, hey, you want to change your business outlook? Do you want to change financial planning? And it's interesting the connections that I've made for networking, for business, for personal growth. And I'm on a 2-year plan to kick everybody's butt and take names because of what I've learned from my friends.
And that's a great point. It is such an opportunity of the people that you'll meet at a cigar lounge. And this is one of the things right now that I have to get my daughter's car fixed next week. Because, she's out of the country. She comes back in April.
Yeah.
And so I want to have it ready for her when she gets back. And so my first thought is I'm going to take it to the mechanic that I always go to. I go by there. They've just packed up. They're out of business. So now I don't know what to do. Well, you know what I'm going to do.
I know what you're going to do.
I'm going to ask everyone at the Leaf.
Absolutely.
Who do they recommend? Because now, that's where you can find a plethora of information.
Right. And it's really, honestly, this is the way life used to be before Craigslist or Google. if you needed someone to work on your house, you asked someone you trusted. Like, so we find that the same thing happens here. Our friend who does construction, it's like, hey, who do you have to build a deck on the back of your house?
Right.
Well, we know who to recommend.
Right.
Because we know a guy who does construction that we trust to do it on our own home, so he could do it on your home. And that's the community feel that comes from cigar smoking in, that community.
Yeah, and I think that's about as close as a community that you can get.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So you're getting ready to go out of town?
Mm-hmm.
What do you got planned?
Well, I'm going away to run away and reset. I think it's a positive thing. And my plan is to, get out of town. I've got a couple cigar shops that I'll stop at. And
Have you been to the Renegade?
No, I haven't been there yet.
Gotta
You
go to the
told me about
Renegade.
that. Yeah. I'll look on my list.
Go by Renegade. The guy who runs that place is Shorty. He's the manager.
A dude named Shorty.
And he even has a cigar named after him. They blend their own cigars.
Really?
Oh, and it's a great cigar.
And he'll treat me like family.
Yes, he
Awesome.
will. Let him
Good.
know that I sent you.
Awesome.
And the owner is Brendan Hayes, great guy. Whenever I go up to Dallas, I always go by the Renegade.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good. Well, that's what I'll do. That's what I'm going to, that's the plan. I booked a hotel that has, like you were talking about, an outside, like hot tub and area outside where I can smoke a cigar. I always go to a new shop, and then the nerd in me is going to be listening to a lecturer. So that's, I like it.
Hey, whatever works for you, right?
Got to keep learning.
That's right. So it was funny because when we were at the hotel last night, I actually went to the liquor store and bought 3 different bottles, but we ended up opening the Wild Turkey 101.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have a bar at the Hilton Garden. And so I went in there holding my bottle in one hand, and I said, hey, can you help me
classy,
here?
Rob.
Yeah, right?
Classy.
So the bartender comes over and he's like, hey, what can I get for you? And I was like, I just need 2 glasses. And he gave me 2 glasses and said, have a good night. And we
That's
just
awesome.
walked out on the patio and had a great night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, well, hey, we just want to say thank you for coming by and being on the show. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
And we will have you back on again some other time.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, take care and have a safe trip.
Thanks.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging through the break. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Debra. We really appreciate her taking the time to come on and tell us about her experience. For me, I already remember whenever, if you go back to when you first started going to the cigar lounge, it was a little bit intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't know.
You got guys in there who've been smoking forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, we're going in there men and men.
Right.
Where if you're a female going into a cigar shop, I can't even imagine it must be really intimidating if you're a new. And it doesn't need to be, because what you don't realize is everybody there is just like open. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to worry about what anybody in there thinks, because they're all brothers of the leaf or sisters of the leaf.
Exactly.
So anyway, guys, hey, wanted to remind you that we do have a few of our Cigar Talk hats and mugs and poker chips still available on the website. Go by www.cigartalkpodcast.com and click on the tab at the top for store. You can go by, and I think we'll probably run out before next Sunday. So if you're interested, go by quick.
Get them while you can.
Right. So anyway, let's do this week's AJ giveaway.
Nice.
So
Did I win?
No.
Oh, damn it.
Well, you kind of won. I gave you an AJ when you got here.
Yeah, I did
and
win.
I gave you some Dickel. So
it's some Dickel.
So
you can't have enough Dickel.
You're good. Anyway, this week's drawing is, let's see who the winner is. Now, before we do this, let's talk about how easy it is to win on Cigar Talk. All you have to do is go by our website, click on the register button, and you'll see the AJ giveaway, and then you put in your name and email address. That's it.
That's it.
And so I don't know how much easier I can make it. So here's the other thing is, if we call out your name, we call it out on the show on Monday. You have until the following Sunday at 1800 for non-military people. That's 6 p.m. Central.
Yep.
And all you got to do is send me an email, and in the subject line, put on there, I'm the winner or AJ winner. And then we'll send you a 2-pack of AJ Fernandez cigars. Those come out of our personal private vault at here at Cigar Talk. So you're not going to want to miss those. And so go by, register. And anyway, this week's winner is Mark Bush. Congratulations,
right.
Mr. Bush.
Congratulations, Mark.
Send me an email. Oh, and also what I also want to say is if you are one of the winners, send me pictures and I'll post those on our social media.
There you go.
Yeah, that way everybody can see who the winner was.
Right on.
So anyway, that's our winner this week. Congratulations, Mark. And hopefully I'll be hearing from you real soon. So anyway, guys, let's talk about air purification. I was up in Lubbock, like I said earlier, and I was talking to some guys at the shops that's doing some personal lounges. And I told them the story of this lounge, which is our shed. Anyway, it started out with a Honeywell HEPA filter. And that, did okay.
It was
if you were in here by yourself. You know what I mean? It was bearable.
It was smoky.
It was smoky, but it was better than nothing.
It was
better than nothing. So then I went from that, and now also just to preface, I also have an exhaust fan in the ceiling.
Yep.
And that's a big helper.
It helps.
Because that blows out some of the smoke and the air, but it also sucks in fresh air.
Yes.
Now, the next step was I went to an industrial strength air filter, but it's not made for smoke.
No, it's not.
But it did help some. It was helpful. And, I think I spent $140 total on it.
Right.
The Honeywell, I spent $200 on. And then that just wasn't cutting it.
Yeah.
So then I ordered a Medify, which is medical grade air purification, and my life has never been the same since.
Man, we've been smoking for an hour in here, and there's no smoke.
It's clear.
It's clear.
And so that is what I've been trying to accomplish. And even a year ago, I was trying to figure out.
Oh, I know. We had a whole discussion about it.
Right. And we had people asking us about it. So I know it's important to a lot of you guys who want to smoke inside. And so, I smoked out here for a year without having the Medify.
Oh, your lungs are trash.
I know, right? But that being said, now I can't smoke in here without it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no smoke in here at all.
Right. I mean, it's just that nice. And so if you go by our website, I think it's like the fourth link down says air purification. You go by there, click on the link, and you can use the code Medify Smoker, and they give you 10% off.
10% off. Can't beat that.
So anyway, guys, definitely go by and check them out. And they have all different size models.
Right.
I mean, if you have a small room to a medium room to a large room to a freaking huge room, they have one that will cover
it. Right.
And I will say this, I got the biggest model because everything I do is overkill.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would rather
your room's pretty big.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a 12 by 14.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like almost like the size of a bedroom.
That thing in my smoke room, you've seen my smoke room.
Yeah,
it's like 7 by 7.
Right.
I mean, that thing would make it unbelievable.
Well,
but I'm actually going to go with a smaller unit.
You're going with the 40.
Yeah, I'm going with the 40.
This is the M112. Yeah. But anyway, if you're concerned about your air quality in your smoke room, I highly recommend the Medify. I went through several different steps. And I even researched a lot of other models first, like the Air Rabbit.
Me too. The Rabbit.
The Rabbit is
we beat that Rabbit to death already.
that is money wasted.
Yeah,
because Scott's got one.
Yeah,
and he said no bueno.
No bueno. Well, now he has a Medify.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and will you tell you a funny story?
Yeah.
So I asked him, how did the Medify do in your smoke room? And he said it did fantastic, but one problem. And I said, well, what was that? And he said, I didn't realize the heater was on, so the return air took all the smoke and blew it back in the house.
Oh, no. well, that's why it's best to have a separate room from your house.
Absolutely.
It really is, because you know how mine is and how yours is. We're separated from our house.
Right. And that's the best way.
It's the best way.
But he brought out the ionizer or whatever it's called and did that for several hours and fixed it. But in the future, he'll have the Medify on, but no heater on.
Right, exactly.
So anyway, let's see what's coming up next. I guess that's going to wrap it up. I guess we covered everything.
We're wrapping it, man.
Wow. We did fast.
We can send off those Christmas packages now.
Right. Hey, guys. So thanks for tuning in this week. I've got a special guest coming up next week. She was a cigar rep for Rocky Patel for you know what? I don't know if I can say that. I can't tell who it is because it's top secret information at this time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I
know who it is.
I know you know. But anyway, we'll have a special guest next week. You're not going to want to miss. And till next week, keep smoking.